Layers can play an important role in managing content in your documents. In order to organize and more easily select content in this poster, you'll first learn how to create new layers, then you'll add artwork to the new layer, and finally, you'll change layer properties like layer name. If you want to follow along, open this practice file from the downloadable practice files for this tutorial. With that practice file open, choose View, Fit Artboard and Window so you can see the entire poster. This document has most of the content already created. To see the layers in the document, open the Layers panel by choosing Window, Layers. In the Layers panel on the right, the default layer named Layer 1 is currently the only layer. There may be times in certain documents that you might not find it necessary to create or work with layers in the Layers panel. Maybe there are only a few elements in an icon or a logo you're working on, for instance. In the case of this poster, you'll create a background shape and create a new layer so you can more easily select the content later. Double-click the layer named Layer 1 and change the name to Content, then press Enter or Return to accept that name. You can name your layers anything that makes sense to you or leave the default naming. Changing the names of layers will be beneficial in a document with a lot of content and a lot of layers to more easily keep track of content you have later. Now you'll add a background color to the poster to make the text more readable in this case. You'll create a new layer so the background content can be hidden or selected more easily. At the bottom of the Layers panel, click the Create New Layer button to create a new layer. The new layer is added to the Layers panel and named something generic like Layer 2. Also notice that it's above the content layer. Double-click the new layer name and change the name to Background. Then press Return or Enter to accept the name. With that layer selected, you can tell it's selected because it has a highlight. You'll add content to it. Selecting a layer in the Layers panel tells Illustrator to place new content you add onto that layer. If you need to delete a layer, you can click the Delete Selection button down here. And know that if you delete a layer, you'll also delete all of the content on that layer. To add a shape to this layer, select the Rectangle tool in the Tools panel on the left. Out in the document, starting in the upper left corner of the artboard, click and drag to the lower right corner of the artboard to create a rectangle that covers the entire artboard. Choose Window, Properties, or you can click the Properties panel tab if you see it to open the Properties panel. To add a color fill to the selected shape, click the Fill color, make sure the Swatches option is selected, and select a color like this purple to fill the shape. With the shape still selected, click the Layers panel tab up here to show it. You can see that the new shape is on the layer named Background, and this little red box to the right means the selected content is on this layer. This shape needs to be behind the other poster content. To do that, you can reorder the layers in the Layers panel. Drag the layer named Background down. When you see a line appear below the content layer, release the mouse button to reorder the layers and ultimately the layer content in the document. Then choose Select, Deselect. In the Layers panel, click the blank area to the right of the eye icon in the background layer. That way you lock the layer so you can't select content on that layer. This will help to focus on editing the artwork on the content layer, for instance, without accidentally moving the background shape. Notice this pencil icon. That icon is telling us we can't create a rectangle right now because a locked layer is selected. Click to select the content layer, then you could add content like a rectangle. Now you know how to add and rename layers in your documents in Illustrator. With an understanding of working with layers, you can now start organizing artwork in your projects you start. So that you can create a copy of this file, choose File, Save As. Make sure you change the file name, that way you don't overwrite the original practice file.